So hi, my name's Kristal Jones. I am a poet, a fine art nude model, a comic. I do a bunch of stuff. Today I think I'm probably just gonna hang out and do some poetry. I'm here performing at the Borderless Festival. Again, I'm really lucky and excited to have this space and to have been continually offered this space, so thank you very much. So I'm just gonna get into it. I'm gonna be reading from a couple of collections, mostly from Fat.Girl.Riot. As you can see, I am a card-carrying fat, and that can give you a lot of feels when you're just trying to exist in the world in your body, right? So I'm going to start with a poem called Bullets and Boutonnieres. And yeah, here we go. Fat is like the blade of the knife meant to cut me open, but I've bent that blade into a boutonniere and I named it Beauty. And I pinned it to the lapel of my body, over my heart, and now it ricochets your words back into your machine gun mouth. Bang, 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 count that calorie. Bang, 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 fat is unhealthy. Health isn't promised or something that's owed to you, and it's not even like you're my doctor, dude. Parentheses, in one study of primary care, providers who evaluated patients that were overweight were more likely to rate the encounter as a waste of time, indicating they would spend 28% less time with an overweight patient compared to a normal weight patient. Health is a spectrum with endless variables that has little to do with leafy green vegetables. In fact, it really is nothing more than a marketing tool that makes each of us its invaluable fool, and so we'll fork over our forks and our coins and our carbs for your shakes and snake oils and wishes on stars, because what you promised us is happiness, but you're sneaky. You packaged it as skinny and taught us that a narrow waist was the only face of healthy. Fat. It's like the blade of the knife meant to cut me open, but I bent that blade into a boutonniere and I named it Beauty, and I pinned it to the lapel of my body, over my heart, and now it ricochets your words back into your machine gun mouth. Bang, 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 cover all that body. Bang, 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 fat is not sexy. Fat is not sexy, sir, have you seen me? Have you seen me? I am something to be seen. I have legs for days if you'll measure horizontally, and I can't remember giving a fuck if you want me. Big body bitches don't have to settle for your shit. I don't remember asking you to make this flesh your fetish. So yeah, I'm gonna wear a crop top in the middle of the July when the weather is hot, because bitch, so am I. I am so sick of all the sidewalk commentary and chatter. This is my body, and your 2 cents don't fucking matter. Sexy, that's the currency of the male gaze, and that shit is counterfeit. Can't you see this fat girl's making it rain? Fat, it's like the blade of the knife meant to cut me open. But I bent that blade into a boutonniere and I named it Beauty. And I pinned it on the lapel of my body, over my heart, and it ricochets your words back into your machine gun mouth. Bang, 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 fat is an epidemic. Bang, 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 you're gonna make the kids sick. Most children are terrible people who were born innocent babies until you polluted them with your flat-phobic rabies, internalized sizism, crawling like scabies. Look in the mirror, that's who's raising your babies. Don't they deserve an example of a fat woman who can? Who can touch her toes, end the sky, ball, earn, win, fly, eat, love, dream, reach? Don't they deserve more than what we teach? To break the mold and cut the tape, smash the scale and burn what we learned, change the meaning of the words, really do be better. To spell beautiful using only 3 letters. F-A-T, fat. She's a perfectly fine person to be. Bang, bang, bang. Thanks. So as I mentioned, I am a fine art nude model. And when you're naked on the internet, it gives people on the internet this weird idea that they get any fucking say in what you do. And it's always really tricky because people find out I'm naked on the internet and then they're like, you're a whore. And there's really no good defense of that. Like, what do you say? I'm not a whore, I fuck for free? Like, I don't know how to respond to that. So now my go-to response is, if you have a problem with me being naked on the internet, then you can pay me to keep my clothes on. Otherwise, shut the fuck up. So to that effect, I'm going to be performing a poem called Naked on the Internet. I was naked on the internet before I had an email address. I won't get into all of that, but I will tell you this. I didn't have breasts yet. And even if he had asked, though he didn't ask, my yes could not, would not have meant yes. I used to wear all of my clothes at once. I wanted all of the space between me and your gaze to be filled with layers, not like a suit of armor, like a fucking minefield. Tensor bandage under bra, under camisole, under t-shirt, under sweater, under sweater, under sweater, under sweater, and hunched all of the way over. all of the way down, curving my spine until every vertebrae spiked out of my back like barbed wire. If you were going to touch me again, it was going to leave a mark on you this time, motherfucker. Some time after then, but before right now, we'll call it 23, I fell in love with fashion, with music, with movement. Through these things, I learned how to relate to the world, to make sense of the world, to turn the volume up and just let the world burn when I needed it to. The layers fell away and I got to know my very own skin. It had grown thick with fear and callous with anger and pale without purpose, and it did not look like me anymore. It was peeling back and falling off, and something was shining underneath. Peeking out from the purge, it was my body. It took some time for me to learn to navigate this vessel of flesh and corners and curves and wounds and wonder. I wore my breasts like bullseyes and my hips like bullets. I softened my skin and unfolded my shoulders and raised my chin to the sky. The sun drenched my flesh and I was golden again, broken open again, and I drank it all in. I wrapped myself from this shroud of shame that bound me to more guilt than any cadaver could carry. I grieved for the innocence I lost in the years I spent blaming this body for what happened to this body before my lips learned to bend around the word no. And then I danced, right there on that bar top, decorated in leather, stretched over lace, red lips, fringe-hung hips, hints of skin soaked in sin, and a smile wide across my face. I didn't know the power could grow back once it had been cut off. Some people find freedom in string, and some find it in cloth. Mine was right here, hidden underneath. And I found it and waved it high above my head and took pictures for the internet for everyone to see. Not for validation, a little bit for validation. But a declaration: you cannot, will not place shame on me. My naked skin is not the patriarchy. My worth is not measured in my lack of nudity. My value is not calculated by adding or subtracting clothing. My power is in my command for consent and respect, and I demand that you show it to me. I am naked on the internet, and you don't get to decide what that means. Thank you. And maybe in that same vein, I'm going to do a poem called Not Suitable for Work. And this is a little bit of a call out to a community that I love. I love the slam community, but there are very few rules in slam, and one of them is no nudity. And it's not like I would get naked to do a poem anyway, but I don't like somebody telling me that I shouldn't, because it implies that there should be some shame in that. And really, we know what it is. We have to say no nudity because some straight guy's going to get on stage and wank and call it poetry. So to protect audiences, we say no nudity, but I kind of think it's bullshit, so I wrote this poem. We say no nudity like it isn't common sense, like it's not our first line of defense, like we don't live in a world that just wants to hold a measuring tape up to it. Like we don't always come up short anyway, like he's not over there offering to make up the inches from inside of me. We say no nudity, as if our bodies are a promise, a consolation, prize every time. As if fabric has ever protected anyone, as if our bodies are inherently sexual, as if our sexual is inherently unholy, as if my God gives a fuck about your dick. We say no nudity, but what we mean is, when it comes to nude bodies, there has to be rules. My areolas are basically radio dials for devils. Spin them backwards and hear it for yourself. My pink places, my soft places, my dimpled canvas with coarse hair scattered sparsely in protest in the shape of a middle finger waving at your rules and mine do not align. You see, I have a rule that no one can look at this body, call it vulgar, call it slut, call it his. We say no nudity, like you have any jurisdiction here, as if poetry isn't more vulnerable than my flesh, fat, and bones, as if these words aren't the closest thing you'll ever get to being inside me. We say no nudity, as though I can't have my clothes on, say these lines, and be totally, completely bare naked. Thank you. So, next I have a poem called Fat Jokes. As I mentioned, I am a card-carrying fat, and I am a comic, and I tell jokes about it, and I have challenged myself not to tell fat jokes in a self-deprecating manner. That said, sometimes it's nice to talk about my fat privilege. Has anybody heard of fat privilege? No? Just thin privilege? Fat privilege is like I have really thick thighs, so in the wintertime I don't get chapped lips. Fat privilege is like I have really thick thighs, so I've never dropped my phone in the toilet. Fat privilege is I always get shotgun on road trips. Fat privilege is, well, I get to look like this. Now, I have, oh, here we go. I know a lot of folks, but this poem isn't for them. This poem is for the fat folks, the punchline of the joke folks, the can't find the clothes that fit folks, the unsolicited advice receiving folks, the not so subtle side-eye seeing folks, the folks with like a great personality, the folks with such a pretty face, you know, the folks like me. All right, this poem is for me. Would that be okay? If I took up the space I needed, I noticed you were trying to take up less space today. Today on your Facebook page, I noticed all of your privilege, but your thinness isn't small enough for you. And so now you are an internet fitness guru, an entrepreneur with an online store, and I am wondering, what cut of this cake? What piece of this pie is mine? Because what you're selling is the fear of looking like me. Yeah, me, remember me? This poem is for me. I am always going to be the before body. I am the gut. I am the width. I am the softness. I am pounds and pounds and pounds and pounds of softness. Why won't you let me be soft? Instead, I am forced to force a callous flesh, drop my shoulders and shrink inside my shell, make a home of myself because, polite though you may be, you are not welcoming. You are convincing, however, convincing me that the only way to be more is to weigh less. And I was never really good with math or gravity, but I'm pretty sure that doesn't add up to sanity. Convincing me that a horizontal stripe in a loaf of bread are my enemy? No, Becky, you're my enemy. You and your meal supplement smoothie selfies. You and your body wrap belly shrinking pyramid scheme. You and the societal pressure that you are equal parts a victim of and contributor to. And I don't hate you. I've been just like you. I actually understand you. I've just had enough of you, but enough about you. This poem is for me. The one you call brave for existing this large and also having the audacity to wear a swimsuit to go swimming. Me, the one bridesmaid's dress you ordered with sleeves because you thought I would be more comfortable. Me, the one with the tits that you covet and the ass that's so thick but you would just die if you had this stomach. Me. This poem is for the fat folks who have bad days and good, who move through the world with gratitude despite having to make themselves fit inside of every part of it. Who don't order the salad, who do declare their beauty, who dare to be soft, who dare to be seen, and for the folks who can't. The folks who know that today it's not safe to face it all. Facebook page is just a metaphor for the mall, classroom, office, grocery store, bank, bus, gym, mirror. For the folks who were brave yesterday, so today they rest. And for the folks who are forever resting because wrestling with disordered eating isn't a fight everyone gets to win, it's a war. And Becky, you're the bullets, and all I'm asking is this, that you be blanks. Make all your noise if you must, but do no harm because you do harm. I know a lot of folks, but this poem, it isn't for them. This poem is for the fat folks. This poem is for me, and I am taking this space, and I am no longer asking. Thank you. Thanks, everybody. I've had lots of fun. Thanks for listening to me, and thanks for this space.